Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So last night the Saints lost, and lost in horrible, embarrassing fashion. The Saints led 16-3 with about 3 minutes to go, and blew it. No other way to say it. A long, 44-yard PI call gave Tampa first and goal at the 1. They would score. Saints would go 3 and out. Give Tom Brady the ball back with a couple of timeouts in the 2-minute warning, and he took care of the rest and scored the game-winning touchdown with 3 seconds left. And, of course, Tampa would beat New Orleans 17-16. The Otter had both the under and Saints plus 3.5. So if you're looking for the silver lining, cashed a couple of tickets last night. 2-0 night for the Otter. But there was a play on the previous drive for the Saints before the ill-fated 3 and out where it was a second down play, and Mark Ingram, who had been injured earlier in the game, and this was his first game back from injury as well. Mark Ingram caught a little screen out in the right flat, turned upfield, and went out of bounds. I mean, half a yard shy of the sticks. Devin White was given chase. And Mark Ingram, who's a veteran player, knows better. I mean, he is running right at the stick. Like, he goes out of bounds right at the stick, right at the first down marker. Ball's in his right hand, so it's to the outside, which you'd expect. But even something as simple as just holding the ball out at the marker gets you the first down. Or taking another half step gets you the first down. Instead, it set up a 3rd and 1, and the Saints decided to run a slant to Marquez Callaway. It was incomplete. It stopped the clock. Saints would punt, and we the rest, as we know, is history. Well, I bring that up because Michael Cobble took the video and tweeted it, and his tweet of the video, which now has 179,000 views, his tweet read, "Mark Ingram losing the game for the Saints." And I quote tweeted him and said, Mark Ingram, he's been a losing player his entire career. And that didn't sit well with a lot of you. And that's okay. I think that, and by the way, I want to be very clear, and the reason I didn't elaborate any further on Twitter is because sometimes it's hard, 280 characters at a time, to try to provide context to things. I'm just lucky enough to have a radio show where I can sit here and talk about things at length and go on the record about how I feel about something. And this is something that if you've listened to this show or watched this show for any length of time, it's not going to surprise you because it's not a new opinion that I have on Mark Ingram. I've shared this many times over the years about Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram came on this show last year, and I told him this when he came on this show. I'm not going to sit here and say something to you that I wouldn't say to this man's face. And I want to be clear. I'm not talking about Mark Ingram, the person. It's why I was very, very, very specific in the tweet to say he has been a losing player his entire career. Because I think Mark Ingram's a pretty good guy. I'll tell you, when I first thought, hey, you know what? I'm a Mark Ingram fan as a person, when he won the Heisman Trophy. In 2009, Mark Ingram won the Heisman Trophy, and he gave a tearful, gracious, humble speech. He's been through a lot, obviously, with his dad, who Mark Ingram was a former NFL player, going to prison. And I believe Mark Ingram is a good guy. I believe that. I think he's been a good dude in the locker room, good community guy, all that stuff. I believe. But you can be a good guy and not be a great football player. And here's the thing. And Mark Ingram's been around the league for a decade. He was taken in the first round back in 2011. So he's been around a long time. And if you're running back at 32 years old and you're still getting reps in the NFL, you're a good player, and I understand that. But with Mark Ingram, with respect to this conversation, It's a matter of return on investment. And if you are truly looking at the NFL as a business, then you are looking at the contracts you give players as investments, or the draft picks you spend on a certain player as an investment, and you want to return on that investment. And I'm here to tell you that throughout his NFL career, Mark Ingram has been a bad ROI player. Part of this is not his fault. He didn't make the Saints trade into round one to take him. Remember, 2011, the Saints took Cam Jordan and then traded back into round one to take Mark Ingram. That's not Mark Ingram's fault. But the Saints ended up giving up their 2012 first-round pick and their number 2 pick in 2011, which became the 56th overall pick, which incidentally the Patriots used on running back Shane Vereen. And so the Saints ended up essentially giving up 2 picks, a 1 and a 2, for Mark Ingram. So naturally and immediately, the expectation on Mark Ingram goes up. If Mark Ingram were an undrafted rookie free agent and played in the NFL until he was 32 years old and became the Saints' career-leading rusher, and for his career had rushed for 8,000 yards, we'd look at that and go, what an incredible career. Amazing. But that's not the reality. Better yet, look at Rashid Shaheed. This is a better example. Rashid Shaheed was an undrafted rookie free agent from a small school. And because he's an undrafted rookie free agent from a small school, we look at his production, any production, as impressive, as a win, because you found this guy to the credit of your scouting department. And you found a guy in Rashid Shaheed that's become a good football player for you as a receiver and as a returner. Had a really nice return in the game on Monday Night Football against Tampa. But if Chris Olave, who you traded back into round one and then traded up, executed 2 first-round trades, in essence, to take Chris Olave. If Chris Olave were sitting here today with Rashid Shaheed's stat line, which is he's played in 8 games out of 13, and he's got 12 catches for 239 yards. For an undrafted rookie free agent, returning kicks and punts, playing in 8 games, having 12 catches for a couple hundred yards, it's incredible. If that was Chris Olave, we'd be going, dude's a bust. And that's the problem with Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram came into the NFL and immediately had fumbling issues and has had pervasive fumbling issues throughout his career, even up until this season, when in the first game against Tampa, you're driving in a tie ball game looking to give yourself some breathing room, and he fumbles in the red zone. That's who Mark Ingram is and has been his entire career. Mark Ingram, as a first-round pick who the Saints used 2 selections on, did not have his 5th-year option picked up. The Saints decided as a 5th-year player, he wasn't worth $5 million. They were committing more to Chris Ivory and Travaris Cadet, undrafted rookie free agents. And then in 2017, drafted a running back in Alvin Kamara, who I think we would all objectively say today has been better in his shorter run as an NFL running back than Mark Ingram has been over a decade. Mark Ingram did not have a 1,000-yard season until 2016. That was in his 2nd contract. During his rookie deal, he played in 16 games once. So he was not durable. He was not productive. He had a fumbling issue. The Saints didn't pick up his 5th-year option. They signed him to a lesser deal, finally had a 1,000-yard season, barely 1,043 yards. And then in 2017, with Alvin Kamara alongside, he had his best season where he ran for 1,100 yards. At that point, he was 7 years into his NFL career. And a year later, the Saints let him walk over pennies to Baltimore, where he played well, complimenting Lamar Jackson. And in the middle of the following season, Baltimore cut him. And then he went to Houston And Houston traded him back to New Orleans 7 games into the season. And he provided a little bit of a spark a year ago. But this year has been injury-prone, fumble-prone, and really just lacked production because that's what Mark Ingram is. Now, he's been around the league a long time. He knows the Saints organization. The Saints are loyal to guys that know them, as we saw when they brought back Latavius Murray earlier this year. And they've been in need of running backs at times.
Murray, present.
But Mark Ingram is not a great player. He has never been a great NFL player. He's a guy that has lacked productivity, has had a fumbling issue. The Saints have shown when they didn't pick up his fifth-year option that they didn't think he was as valuable as some of the undrafted free agents that they had. And a big part of this is the expectations heaped upon him by where he was taken in the draft and what the Saints gave up to get him. That's ROI. And Mark Ingram has not been a good investment based on the return you've gotten over the course of his career. That's the problem with Mark Ingram. It's always been my problem with Mark Ingram. Serviceable NFL player? Sure. Worthy of 2 picks when you took him in round 1? Nope. Not even close. And the Saints have shown you that over and over again. Because they've never made him a feature player in their offense. Nor should they. Because he's not worth it. And he never has been. And he showed it again last night. As a veteran player with a chance to help his team ice a game, running toward the sticks, and stepping out of bounds a half yard shy. That's a play that, in essence, cost you the game. Get another half yard. Have the presence of mind to stick the ball out or take another half step. Get the first down. You chew another 2 minutes off the clock. Tampa, at minimum, 2 minutes off the clock. Tampa doesn't have the time to come back. But that's just who Mark Ingram is. That's who he's been his whole career. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.